What a way to end the season. What is up, everyone? It's your boy, Dakota Clayball, your Tampa Bay Bayern Ultra and Realtor Extraordinaire. Welcome back to the channel. I know I'm sporting some shades right now, but allergies have gotten the best of me right now. That, or I might be sad about Arsenal losing to PSG, and unfortunately PSG back-to-back now not equal with Real Madrid, but that'll be maybe for another talk another day. Anyways, let's say this. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? We're back, baby. Bayern Munich, they are DFB-Pokal champions once again. First time since 2020, they are DFB-Pokal champions, and they now have the domestic double in their cabinet for the year 25-26. A wondrous 3-0 victory over VfB Stuttgart in Berlin sealed, like I said, the domestic double for Vincent Kompany's boys. Bundesliga champions and DFB-Pokal champions. Oh, it feels good. It sounds good. And for the first time, like I said, 2020. Actually, let's rewind this again. What's up, everyone? What an absolute way to end the season. It's your boy, Dakota Clayball, your Bayern Munich Ultra, here in Tampa, and your Realtor Extraordinaire. Hopefully, you'll buy a house from me someday. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. Can you hear the crowds in Berlin? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? That's right. We're back. Bayern Munich, once again, are DFB Pokal champions. A wondrous 3-0 win over VfB Stuttgart in Berlin sealed the domestic double for Vincent Kompany's side. Bundesliga champs and DFB Pokal champions. Sounds good, feels good. And for the first time since 2020, like I said, the domestic double. And fittingly, the man who deserved the trophy, the man of the match, delivered the trophy. Because you know him, you love him. He's been doing this all season long. Harry Kane. Hurricane as his nickname. He had a second half Lupenreiner, a hat-trick, or flawless hat-trick in German, in the biggest domestic game of the year. 3 goals, 1 trophy, 1 statement performance. Today, folks, we're going to be talking and breaking down that match. Talking about Stuttgart, how well they did, how Bayern eventually took control, and why this victory says so much more about Vincent Kompany's sophomore season, and why this might be the beginning, hopefully, that will get us a treble next year. Not in trouble, but a treble. The coveted Champions League. Anyways, let's get into it. The atmosphere in Berlin was dynamite. I know, the glasses, they're talking. But anyways, it was ecstatic. It was actually a little too racy at times because you had both sets of fans setting off pyrotechnics and causing the game to be delayed. But you had the defending Pokal holders in Stuttgart trying to defend their crown, and the fans were behind them, and the fans all season long have been behind Bayern Munich. They were chasing their first cup triumph since 2020, and you had the chance to get the domestic double. Like I said, we got it, but let's talk about what happened, what transpired in the game. This wasn't just another final. This was a chance to put a stamp on the entire season, because the Bundesliga title alone would have been considered a successful season, maintaining going back-to-back years. But adding a Pokal, that turns the season into a great one, and Bayern knew it. But let's give Stuttgart some credit because the scoreline does say 3-0 thanks to Harry Kane, but the match did not feel like 3-0 for long stretches, especially in the first half. It was quite difficult. It was a physical affair. It was tense. I mean, man, it was exactly the kind of game Stuttgart was wanting to do. They stayed compact. They had a majority of their players, I believe, if not all of their players, including Undav, the striker, in that compact tortoise shell setup, parking the bus somewhat. They limited the space and they disrupted Bayern's rhythm. And for long periods of time, Bayern they couldn't find the breakthrough. And in the first half, it ended 0-0. This wasn't one of those finals where Bayern came flying out of the stocks and dominated from the opening whistle. No. Stuttgart, they fought. They pressed. They challenged every ball. Whew. Man, it was great. It was great from a neutral or an outsider's perspective, but it made Bayern earn every inch of the field. And like I said, it was scoreless at halftime. And honestly, everyone could feel the nerves. Because in a final, knockout games, any knockout games, one mistake changes everything. But before we talk about Harry Kane, we need to talk about the defensive performance of Bayern Munich's back line. Because this was a complete team win. There was no mistakes made by Bayern. Stuttgart, they had their opportunities, they had their moments, but Bayern were organized, they were disciplined, and they never allowed Stuttgart to maintain or build momentum. That's something we've seen before, and it's dramatically improved under Vincent Kompany. Early in the season, Bayern could occasionally look vulnerable in the transition, especially where you'd have too many players playing upfield. Upamecano always running back, Ta running back, not as quick as Upa, but it was definitely an improved balance to that back line this game. The structure improved, the game management improved, and in a cup final, all of that matters. Keeping a clean sheet against a quality Stuttgart side is huge. But when you have keeping them at bay the entire game, that's a tremendous job. Bravo, chapeau to that defensive line. But man, keeping a clean sheet, the defenders did their job. They kept that clean sheet. The midfield, it was protected, and man, they locked down the midfield. And when Bayern needed saves and composure, Jonas Erbig, who got the call up because Neuer didn't get enough time to recover, he kept that clean sheet. I think he had 3 saves, and man, this made a championship-worthy team. And they defended like champions. And they performed like champions. Man, oh man, let's give them a round of applause. I know it's a little weird. I won't do that again, I don't think. But anyways, then came the moment, the breakthrough. That goal by Harry Kane, the first one from the corner, he got that. Man, he found his space. He found his opening. And it changed everything. Because once he got it, the floodgates opened. Whew. Harry Kane said, "Open sesame," and that goal, it completely shifted the match. Suddenly, Stuttgart had to chase because they knew if they didn't score first, it was lights out. Suddenly, spaces appeared. Man, we found that key, opened it. Suddenly, Bayern looked comfortable again. They looked domineering. Harry Kane, he looked inevitable because he is inevitable. Will he be inevitable starting in 2 weeks? Let's see. But that second goal felt like the dagger. It felt like there was no going back. And the third goal, it was destiny. Handball by former Bayern youth player Stiller. I can't remember his first name. Angelo Stiller. He had a handball in the box. It solidified the natural hat trick by Harry Kane. And you couldn't script it much better than that, folks, because for years people had talked about Harry Kane not getting trophies. I mean, he was with Tottenham, who barely stayed in the Premier League this season. Man. And for years, people made jokes about him. For years, all he could do was score goals, but they could never get it. They lost out in the last 4 games against, who was it? Oh, man, Leicester City. Whew, man, you lose to Leicester City, folks. But anyways, look at him now, folks. 2-time Bundesliga DFB champion, a DFB-Pokal, and Super Cup, 1 Super Cup. Oh, man, 2 Super Cups maybe? I think it's 2 Super Cups now. But he was the hero of the final, folks. Harry Kane, number 9, Hurricane himself, was the reason why Bayern got that DFB-Pokal trophy. But let's spend a minute talking about him, because what a season this has been for him. When Bayern signed him, everyone knew he was going to score goals. That was never the question. But 56, I think it's 56 goals he scored for the Bayern across all of the Bundesliga, Champions League, and DFB Pokal. And now he's scored 12 or 13. I think it's 13 goals now against Stuttgart since he started. And the question, folks, it was never that he was not going to score goals, but could he bring Bayern back to the top after a disappointing season 2 years ago? Because let's be real, he came in, didn't get a trophy his first season. We thought, was this a worse thing? Yeah, I'll score goals, but can he score important ones? And folks, that is a resounding yes. Because boy, has he paid back his fee of 100 million in spades. He's the focal point of the attack. He starts the attack, he finishes the attack, and maybe in the same set of motion. He starts it deep, gets it out to Olise or Lucho, then passes again, and then he gets the ball in the net. But man, he's delivered in Europe. He's scored 14 goals in the Champions League this season. He delivered in the Cup Final. But man, that Cup Final really stands out because there's only been, I believe, 2 other players that have scored a hat trick. One of them, the great Gerd Müller. And I think Beckenbauer? Maybe I'm wrong. But the thing that stands out the most is more than just his scoring. Because he's going to score always. He's going to score. But his movement, his passing, his leadership, man, his ability to bring others into the game, all of it elevates the players around him, because he just brings everyone. He'll be in there in defense. He'll be there in offense, midfield, wherever he needs to be. He's there. He's there. And on the biggest domestic stage of the season, he shows exactly why he's one of the world's elite forwards. And I mean, he, depending on what we see in the World Cup this year, starting in 2 weeks here in the U.S., Canada and Mexico, mainly in the U.S., we know this. But if he delivers there, man, he could get the Ballon d'Or. He is definitely in an Olise. But like I said, he wasn't alone. Michael Olise, he continues to show why he's becoming one of the most important attacking players in the squad. Luis Díaz, he brings the energy and directness. The midfield works tirelessly. The fullbacks, they're aggressive. Limar, Stanisic, and when healthy, Davies. The center backs, they were composed. Upamecano. Everybody contributed. You had this last game for Goretzka. Man, he's won so many trophies. Not as many. Neuer now is tied with, I want to say he's now tied with Müller. Because they came in at the same time and he played one more season. But what makes this team so dangerous is not just one star. No, not just one system. It's the squad. The squad. Because when the entire squad buys into the manager's vision, in this case, Kompany's vision, you get results like this. And if it weren't for three bad handball calls in the semifinal, we could possibly be talking about Bayern Munich being in the Champions League final. But that's for another day. But let's talk about Vincent Kompany. Man, because he deserves all of the roses, all the tremendous amount of praise. Because remember what happened 2 years ago when Bayern hired him? There were questions. There was skepticism. I'll admit, I had some. You had someone who took Burnley from the championship up to the Premier League and then right back down. But the workings were there. And man, was he ready for the size of this club and this stature, this everything? People wondered that. And Bayern, were they going for a small name? I mean, he was fifth choice. But he's made so many people eat crow, including myself, because Bundesliga champion, DFB-Pokal champion now, two-time Bundesliga champion, to be honest, domestic double winner this year, semi-final in this year. Last year, he was quarterfinal. But man, he's created a clear identity for this team. This team plays with confidence. Confidence. Players look united. And boy, oh boy, is it an entertaining game whenever you see Bayern play. I don't think they didn't score at least one goal in every single game. I think they averaged 3 games in the Bundesliga, 3 goals a game in the Bundesliga this season. But most importantly, Bayern, once again, they look like Bayern. They look dominant. They look hungry. They look ruthless. That culture, finally came back with Vincent Kompany. And he deserves immense and massive amounts of credit for that. Boys, my goodness. Boys and girls, he has been the reason why with selective transfers where we are today. But this trophy, it means more than just another piece of silverware. It ends a 6-year wait, folks. It ends a 6-year wait for the DFB Pokal. Like I said, it completes the double. Woo! It completes that double. It sends Bayern Munich into the summer, into the World Cup on a high. And it gives the club tremendous momentum moving forward. And the scary part, folks, this team may not even be at its peak form yet. They can still evolve. There are young players developing. Carl Bischoff, my goodness. Indiana, or something like that. Man, there's the new signings that came in. They're settling in. Lucho, he had a rough start, but he delivered in big matches. And there's still room for improvement, and we'll still be seeing 1 or 2 signings. So I think everyone should be excited. All the supporters of Bayern should be excited for next season, because when a team wins trophies and still has room for growth, things are about to get quite interesting. But folks, in recap, 3-0 Bayern Munich over VfB Stuttgart. Hard-fought first half that led to jubilation and a 3-goal natural hat-trick for Harry Kane. Man, oh man. But Oh, yeah, and the clean sheet for Jonas Urbig in the defense, they deserve that. It's been a great, great end to the season. Perfect ending in Germany. Only better thing would have been if we were in the Champions League final. But Bayern have reestablished them as the standard in both domestic fronts. Anyways, folks, what do you think? Now the DFB Pokal Cup, the Pokal joins the Meisterschale. It's complete. What do you think we should celebrate next? Anyways, folks, that Harry Kane hat trick, perfect? I think so. Man of the match besides Harry Kane? No. Always going to be him. Vincent Kompany's season A-, just because we didn't get the Champions League final. Destroyed every single record. Harry Kane, he didn't get his record of most goals in a Bundesliga season, but he did beat out Lewandowski's number in goals in a single season. And boy, oh boy, did we destroy the Bundesliga's top. Whew. Anyways, folks, I'll end it there. If you liked this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this lovely mug. Anyways, you may see me making some some German national team game reviews. I don't know if I'll do U.S. I don't really know anyone on the U.S. team. I mean, yeah, there's some, but anyways, I'll probably make some German national team game reviews. The what is it? The team. Die Mannschaft. Even though I think they got rid of that, which was stupid. Anyways, keep an eye out. Maybe I'll do it. Wait and find out. Anyways, please, folks, do not forget to reach out to your family and tell them you love them. And as always, your needs are the point. Tschüss.